Aloha, this is Emily Thoreau-Threat, host of the Grief and Happiness podcast. Every Friday, I share with you my love notes, giving you a little something to think about as you navigate your grief journey, finding happiness expanding along your way. Every Tuesday, I post my regular podcast, sharing wonderful conversations with people you can relate to and offer you encouraging ideas and helpful inspiration. And I invite you to our Grief and Happiness Alliance gatherings for free every week on Zoom. Information provided in the show notes.
Aloha. My podcast for you today is, what is the ideal way to deal with grief? Here's the dilemma. There is no real way to grieve. Each grief is as individual as each fingerprint. How you grieve depends on lots of different considerations, like how long did you know who you're grieving for? How close were you to this person? What are your personal feelings about death? What do you think happens after death? What new responsibilities do you have because of this death? Is your income affected? Are you relieved? Are you devastated? Are you alone? Are you angry? I could go on and on with this list. What's most important, though, is how you feel right now and what you're willing or able to do. I've heard that following Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grief is the best way to deal with grief. So let me put that to a test. To start off with, she wrote these stages about dying, not grieving. While you may be able to apply some, or maybe all the stages of denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance to your grief, chances are most of them don't apply to you. And if they do, there are lots of other stages people have suggested, like shock, belief, pain, and hope, to name a few. Do you have a list to check off? Really? I don't think so. The best way to deal with your grief is to pay attention to what you're experiencing and to act on that. For instance, the main feeling some people experience is loneliness. If you were accustomed to spending most of your time with your loved one who died, chances are you may be having a hard time figuring out what to do now that this is together with others who are also dealing with loss about what we were experiencing. Helped me a lot, as it did the other members of the group. Or you may prefer to spend time with people who aren't dealing with loss so you can focus on something different. If binge watching Netflix allows you some escape for a while, if that helps, do that and don't judge yourself for doing it. Just be sure to come up for air sometimes and do something different. Discover what brings you some joy. Is it calling or Zooming with grandchildren, or maybe you want to hear from an old friend? Instead of waiting for that person to contact you, reach out. I just had a wonderful conversation on the phone with a friend I hadn't talked to in 10 years. When we hung up, we both were smiling and have stayed in touch ever since. The key here is to not judge yourself in relation to how others are dealing with their grief. Rather, find the ways to deal with your grief that suit you the best. Think about what you want to do, about what could help you feel better. Then do whatever it is. One thing that helps me is to walk on the beach. I also love to garden and write. Discover something that you feel good doing and that you look forward to doing again. Then do it. Just take good care of yourself, please. You are worth it.
Thanks for listening, and be sure to order your Grief and Happiness Handbook and cards on Amazon. All profit from these sales go directly to the Grief and Happiness Alliance nonprofit organization to support these podcasts and all that the organization does to provide comfort and support to those who are dealing with grief and loss. Mahalo. Thank you.